sleeping on, Dave. This is still the road to the American League pennant still goes through the Space City boys. I don't care that they quote unquote backed in at the last minute. You want to pitch to Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve in the postseason? Be my guest.
He is Matt Vasgersian from the MLB Network. I believe this is our first either green room or office interview. Matt, how are you? Welcome to BVB. You're very busy today. Thank you for coming on all these big game ones for today.
You know, look, I've been yanking Sherapan around for the last week and a half to come on you guys. And it's not for lack of interest. I can't wait to talk to you guys. Can I take a swing, by the way, at the last question that you posed there, Dave? Which one?
Let's go.
This is the one that I just kind of researched my way into being very interested in this one. Blue Jays Twins is the one that I can't wait to sit down and watch for the following reasons. We know that the Twins are feast or famine lineup, right? They hit a ton of homers, not quite the Bomba squad of 2019, but the homer is still there. They strike out like crazy. They got Gausman on the mound in this game, who's got a strikeout prop set at a really interesting 6.5. And at first, you might think that number's a little low. It's Kevin Gausman, split finger fastball guy, American League strikeout leader, ... But know this, and again, this is stuff that I just stumbled on today. Kevin Gausman had 4 starts this year where he threw 100 or more pitches and pitched less than 6 innings. So he had those hard-working innings. 2 of those were against the Twins. I don't know if they have something on him. I don't know if they just can battle the splitter better than other lineups. But, you know, Rocco Baldelli is going to have all of his left-handed power guys in there today. Kirilloff, probably Wallner. He's got Royce Lewis on the roster. There was some question as to whether or not he was ready. Polanco's going to play. Willie Castro's going to play. I got the Twins scoring some runs, not to mention it's hot. It's humid at Target Field. The ball goes to right field there anyway. I know you can get Minnesota over a 1.5 through the first 5 at a decent price. You get Minnesota's team total at 3.5. I think there's some stuff in there that if I were sitting in your shoes, lads, as guys that don't have any skin in the game that can do this, pretty interesting game for me.
Can I push back?
Do that?
Yeah. I want some pushback on that.
So I guess it's not pushback on the Twins team total, but more it's pushback on the Twins who have lost 17 consecutive postseason games, which I still can't believe that actually that stat is true. 17 straight
18. It's 18.
What?
It's 18.
18.
Oh,
yes.
18 straight. My goodness. Okay,
yes.
Even worse. 18 straight losses for the Twins.
Yes.
Lopez gave up 11 earned runs in his last 3 starts. He faced these guys. He won a game 9-7 against the Blue Jays back in July. Are you okay with him on the mound and the Blue Jays not getting off to a fast start and scoring early?
I don't know that the Twins win the game. I just think that the market is looking at Gausman and his strikeout crown. They're looking at the fact that he ended the regular season with 14 2/3 scoreless. And they're probably valuing that. And that's why they've put the Twins number a little lower than you'd find in another circumstance. So I think it's a number thing. I don't know that the Twins win the series, but the matchup today is fascinating. Here's another one for you. I'm pulling this out of my research notes.
I love this.
Kevin Gausman has a stolen base allowed percentage of 84. That is the second highest among all postseason pitchers. And the Twins have some guys that'll sneaky run. I mean, they don't have burners, but they've got some guys that'll steal a base. I think Rocco Baldelli is going to be really interesting to watch. How quickly he goes to the bullpen here. His bullpen's ready too, by the way. That the Twins K rate in September was tied with the Rays for the best in baseball. They had a 30+% K rate out of their bullpen in September. So once those bullpen gates swing open, the Rangers are in trouble, and I think Toronto's in trouble if they don't have a lead.
Who's better than you? I mean, you come on and just fire all this stuff. You really are the man. I mean, I'm so excited.
No.
I wrote a couple things down. I mean, 42-29 record after the All-Star break for the Twins. That's good. That's only second, behind Orioles and Rays. They're sleeping on the Twins. Everybody is. Even the guys in the book. Their prices on the exactas are absurd. I fall for the Central teams every single year when I do this. Between them and the Brewers, Matty. What is going on with the Brewers? Woodruff was almost in tears yesterday.
Oh,
I was crushing, and they moved all the numbers, all the guys in the book. I was at Circa this morning trying to get some exactas and stuff. All the Brewers numbers went up, and all the Diamondbacks numbers came down. This is not over. I mean, Burns is winning today, right?
I mean, one would think because the Diamondbacks have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound to start a best of three quick series, and they got a guy on the mound that gives up 3+ homers per nine. And the Brewers are not a big home run hitting team. I get that, but be ready for that bullpen gate to swing open pretty quickly too. He might go twice through the order, and then they're going to try to mix and match the rest of the day and get it to Gallen tomorrow. But Gallen's road ERA is twice of what it is when he's at Chase Field. So yes, they have their ace for game 2, but he's not at peak power when he's away from his home ballpark. The Diamondbacks are not set up pitching wise the way they'd like to be, just because of what they had to do to get in at the end. If they get to a third game, the calculus changes a little bit. But the only series that I think is, I mean, look, what do I know? We don't know anything, right? But the only series that I feel pretty good about saying I could pick a winner on is the Rays beating the Rangers. The Rangers bullpen's a mess. How about this number? The Rangers are the first postseason team in the history of the sport to have a save percentage less than 50%.
Wow.
They blew more than they converted.
Wow.
And that had never happened for a postseason team. That's going to show up in the next 2 days, especially against a Rays bullpen that is on lockdown right now. And every time of year when they get to the postseason, I like the Rays a lot. Every one of them is a fascinating talking point. And Matty, I like, look, the Marlins could punk the Phillies. That could happen. That could happen.
The Rangers bullpen gave up 198 home runs. In the way, I know the Rays ended the year differently than they began, but that is a home run ballpark. How do you feel about the over 7.5 for the Rangers and the Rays here, with runs being scored in this one, mostly by Tampa Bay once they get to the bullpen?
Man, yeah. I don't know. Glass now was a little clunky down the stretch, right? So there's some hope there that the Rangers might be able to score. I'd say that once the starters exit, especially once the left-hander exits for Texas, that bullpen has been a gas can, and that's where you might get to your number. Maybe you want to wait and do it live, but that's another fun one to watch, man. That's how we start our day today, with that.
What's the next month like for you? Because it is the most fun month for me, and being out here. But I mean, you're there. You're watching all the games. The post-game stuff is electric. This is just the meaningful pitches. Every single pitch means something. What's it like for you?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm curious too this year because of the new clock, right? It always has gone that once our game gets to the postseason, it slows down to a snail's pace. And I think it hurts the appeal of postseason baseball when the games are 4 hours long. They're going to be a little longer, but not what we've seen in the past. We had that Seattle Houston game on Wednesday, which really put Seattle in a bad spot when they got thumped that day. And it played out like a postseason game. It was nearly 4 hours. You got mid-inning pitching changes. You got a lot of 3-2 counts. You're going to get that with Gausman and Glass now. Those games are going to be long today. But I don't know. I talk out of both sides of my mouth and back one side or another until we the sun sets today. I don't see a lot of runs in anything other than that Twins game today.
Matt, do you think there is a real rivalry between the Astros and the Rangers, given what's going on in the media right now, how the Rangers backed, unfortunately, their way into the playoffs with not getting the 2 seed in the bye? The Astros got it. Some of the comments that were said in the locker room by the Astro players. Is that real? Is that for the next couple of years? Or Rangers Astros, is it something to watch?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they have that tired silver boot series. They were trying to make it like a college football rivalry where whoever wins the season series between the two teams gets the silver boot. I don't think anybody was really that into it. But when a beat writer makes a comment on Twitter and then the other team's president of baseball operations goes off about it, maybe there is some juice there. Maybe there is a little bit something going on there. And, the Rangers, everybody else in the AL West says the same thing. They're tired of the Astros beating up on them. But there's a reason the Astros beat up on them. They're the best team. They've been the best team for the last number of years. I got the Astros coming out of the American League. That's my horse there.
I was going to ask you, we always forget about the teams that aren't playing these first couple days. And talking about the Astros, nobody's really, despite the fact that they are the 1 seed, giving the Orioles a chance. It's so bizarre. They're lower in the numbers than the other, behind the Astros. Rightly so. But do you think the Orioles, we've got a lot of people watching the show in Maryland. They got some Oriole fans out here. They're giddy, Matt. They're giddy over this. Live? American League? No?
Very live. No, very live. Look, I think part of the market uncertainty around the Orioles is, first of all, haven't been there and done that, right? It's all unproven. They don't have a whole lot of combined postseason at-bats or innings. And behind Bradish, there's some question about how they're going to, pitch the rest of the way. Do you want Kyle Gibson in game 2? There's some questions there. You could have a big discussion on it. But we've been kind of discounting the Orioles all year the same way. And they ended up pitching fine, and their bullpen was great. They're going to miss Bautista for sure, but they didn't have him the last 6 weeks of the season anyway, or 4 weeks, whatever it was that he missed. There's a lot of magic in that team that the sabermetricians and the numbers guys hate because they can't quantify it. You can't quantify how big Adley Rutschman's at-bats are with runners in scoring position. You can't quantify how well they match up with their outfielders, or Sed Mullins having a big hit out of the number 8 spot somehow. It's hard to get your hands around it, but they're real.
You got to run, I know. So last one, you like the Astros, other side of the bracket, who's coming out of the National League?
I'll give you a qualified terrible take here.
Perfect.
If the Phillies get past the Marlins, and that's an if, the Marlins could do it to them with 2 lefty starters. They could win both games and do it quickly. But if the Phillies get past that, I think the Phillies get back to the Fall Classic.
Awesome stuff. Where can everyone watch you for today and throughout the playoffs? When are you on? When can we watch your stuff?
Coming up shortly on MLB Network with the great Al Leiter and the great Sean Casey. And tomorrow, same time, same channel, midday, we'll kick off the morning games and spew hot takes and give people bad advice.
Matt, thank you for doing this. I know you're super busy. We really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
You guys. You got it, boys. See ya.
All right.
The one and the only Matt Vasgersian joining us here from the MLB Network here on the Bostonian versus the Book. That was a lot of fun to get him on the program. Let me